Hey YouTubers, this is Rob Moffat. Good morning. This video is going to be different than the other videos. This is a old home movie I found. I'm digging through my stuff in the closet and I'm finding some old videos that I'm going to be transferring onto the computer. I don't know how many people will be interested. This is a home movie I made back in 1991 with my mom. I had a new video camera and wanted to do something with it, so I took my mom out in the car. And it was a Friday. I had a day off. We went all over Miami and looked at places we used to live. And my family's been here for a long time. And so we just went around in Miami and filmed different places we used to live and talked about where we used to live. And I don't think it's going to be interesting to many people. But if you are interested in Miami, I still don't think it's going to be that interesting to people. But I'm going to put it up anyway. There are some things that happened, and it kind of interests me, but I don't think it's going to be that great to watch, and it's going to be long. And but we did live in a lot of places, and it was fun to reminisce, and there were some interesting things that did happen at some of the places. So if you're really bored, have nothing better to do. This is going to be a video of me and my mom back in 1991. Driving around the car, scaring people by videotaping places we used to live. And with some commentary here and there about some historical places in Miami people may not know about.
So how do you turn it off then?
To turn it off, you press the red button again.
12/29/91, but it's really January what? 3rd. And it is 7. Well, I have to say not 7:52 in the morning either. I don't know what's the matter with the clock. It's around
20 after.
hot.
Yeah.
It was even in the wintertime. It
This
was
is where
hot.
we had Jimmy's birthday party, remember? Out in the pool.
There's a pool area over there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, nothing's changed. Because it's been a year since we've been here. And everything's the same.
I better take the cap off.
I had an appointment this morning. I'm a little late. Can I still come in?
Oh, son.
You scared Jennifer. Just checking up on you, Jennifer. Patricia. Oh, I'll be right back. Oh, please tell me about it. I printed something yesterday morning, and it ran out of paper, and it was like yesterday afternoon, so we got paper in here, and you know it's still printed. Wasn't it yesterday morning? So can I help you?
Parkway Diagnostic Occupation Medicine Center. So how long have you been here?
Oh, goodness. 2 years, I guess. Because I was starting across the street.
The medical center across the street.
For 5 years in April.
And they're still in business.
No, medical center's down. It is empty, honey. There is a car park here. Maybe we have a squatter's rights, but...
This is where Patty was living.
Yeah, this is, I'm trying to think of the name of the place. I think it's Cooper or not? I don't have the name of the building, but this is where Patty lived when she first came to Miami. After she left our apartment.
1525.
Yeah, 1525. 125th Terrace, I think it is. And right down the street, too, is that little hideaway motel where you sent her to. I was just hiding out from Horrible.
Yeah, I remember. That was fun. Every time you come over here, you had to make sure no one was following you behind you. And
Yeah.
you go different ways. And
Yeah, you watch in the mirror and you just... This weird-looking cat. Oh, I don't know what it's kind of pretty in a way. I have to get a good look at him. Looks like Jonathan's old precious. Yeah, I got into 2 different apartments in here. She got up in the world. She went from 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Place that Patty left when at the motel.
Yeah, she's
I'm recording now.
hiding out.
How long was she here?
It's just about a month, I guess she must have been here.
This is over here in North Miami.
Yeah, just where the lady was gonna have her write some letters and send them to Hawaii and have the lady in Hawaii mail them back to Orville, so you think she moved to Hawaii.
Parkside Inn, yeah. Whose house was that? I forgot. This was the McGuire's house.
McGuire's.
It's got a basement. Both these houses have basements.
I love that house there.
This is the small fry.
Now the cottages.
There's nobody behind us. So
Yeah, it's a small fry.
fry.
We worked for 12 long years.
hard to believe, isn't it?
Geez, they must be closed today. Surely more people have cars that work here. It's one
There's
car.
one car.
What is today?
It's Friday.
Friday? Yeah.
Look, there's lights on. There should be somebody there. Only one car. Maybe the bus driver's out. Well, that was something. 12 years, and they give you like a 5-cent raise or something.
Yeah, I mean, like all those years, I only made maybe, what, like $1.50 raise in 12 years.
And then they wanted to pay the people that they hired brand
It's closed down.
new. I doubt it.
There's only one car. They built a shed out in the back in a closed area. See, when I told them to do that, they laughed at me.
You know, when you want to start your own business, they wouldn't help you do that either.
My mom babysit kids at her house for, maybe 10, 12 years. And then after she babysitted her own home, she moved or got a job down the street at Small Fry and worked there for 12 years, babysitting kids. And then one day she saw something in the paper in the Miami Herald where the federal government was going to be giving millions of dollars in loans to Haitian immigrants to start their own businesses. So she had me drive her down because she was too nervous to go by herself. She had me drive her down to the Small Business Administration to see if she'd get a loan to open up her own small business of a daycare, since she had worked in one for 12 years, plus 10, 12 years at her home where she had her own private daycare, and they told her she didn't have enough business experience. She had gotten books out of the library, she had scouted locations, she had found a house that she could convert that was on a really good street, and that kind of hurt her, and she didn't know what to do. She wasn't getting paid anything at Small Fry. So she was talking to one of the mothers that were dropping off their children, and they were going to school to become a medical assistant. They were in their 20s. My mom was in her late 50s. They said she ought to go. Well, she didn't have but a 9th grade education. So she went and applied, and they said, well, you can't apply because you don't have a high school education. She said, well, she'll get her GED, but she just wants to start the program. So she spent 9 months working every day at work, then after work going to the school 5 days a week, taking anatomy, physiology, and all sorts of medicine and science classes. And she passed in a class of 27 people, like number 2 or 3 at the top. And when she graduated, they weren't going to give her our permit to have a permit to be a doctor's assistant, but because she didn't have her GED, and she said, well, you know what? I graduated higher than like 25 people in the class. And there's only 27. And she made up her mind, and they gave her that permit. She became a medical assistant with a 9th grade education. In her late 50s, she went to work for the clinic and was there until she retired. So she didn't get to be a business owner and have her own daycare like she wanted, but she still managed to break out of the rut and in the end get a decent job after all the years of working for hardly anything. So that's just a little story about that.
No, this is boy, this street brings back memories here.
Yeah. That's all leveled off back there. I bet they're going to build back there.
Yeah, they probably are. This used to be just jungle back there for years.
Yeah.
Nobody behind us. This is brand new. I don't remember this.
Yeah, this was here when I was a small fry.
This is nothing but jungle
It was
for
all
years.
brand new then.
carts over here.
Like 5 years ago, it was
This is
kind of new.
Cotham's house.
Oh yeah.
Incredible, boy. Let me park over here.
That Bob, I think it is, or B, written on the gate.
That's new. I haven't seen that before. Boy, all this is.
Yeah, see, this is a church for Bonnie. Lived here, and we lived over there. Now they got the
Street, that's where Bonnie and Bill lived, and Hester, and there were 3 houses over there. Now there's just the one big church. The property seems a lot smaller now than it used to be, but I think, yeah, they've got a lot of fun. Goes down 400 or 500 yards. Goes all the way down to the beaches. So, yeah, where we used to live also. And this is Dan's where I lived also. There for years. How many years did we live there?
They're like 7 years, I
And it was so neat because it has the canal in front of it, and there's a little tiny moat that you go across. And that's the only way to get in and out. So it was pretty private. And it was surrounded by jungle. These houses over here weren't there. This used to be all nurseries. And it was just jungle all the way around. And you had a little boat right to make it a worm farm or something. And now that's set in here and chickens and roosters and yeah, they've got a fence all around it. Because you could come out at night and walk around in your underwear and nobody even noticed. You work on your car, have cookouts, do anything you want. It was a really great place to live. You had the fox in the neighborhood would come out at night, alligators, and when it rained you hear all the frogs.
put your garbage in the trash can, possibly be in the garbage.
Over here we had one time a raccoon come in the back door and open it up and come in the house just like he owned it.
Those the good old days.
I have to send this to Bonnie and up in North
yeah.
Carolina. Tell her this is where her house was, right over here.
Now they're praying for it.
Yeah, the first church of God, North Day. Well,
They bless the land that they do that.
on the road, Griffin Memorial Highway. And this is the front where we used to live. Right around there was where Hester's house was for years. Right there, ground level. Every time it rained, it flooded on her. And way back in the back would have been Bonnie's house. And right about here where the church was Mom's house. And it's all gone now. This would have been a driveway where people turned around all the time and made everybody upset for digging holes in the lawn. That's looking down the road the other way. I hope that's focused all right. Now, I went fishing a million times. That's fishing all the time, continue fishing, maybe I have my boat and they stole it. Look at these hats out there. I wonder if those ducks will come over here and start bugging you to get fed. It's a pain in the neck when you're trying to fish. Oh, it's nice fishing over here. Cool treat. How many places now?
1, 2.
Well, basically there's 3 places here. Quite a few years. About 17 total. And how many years? Well, there must have been a few years where it was like every couple months.
About 28, 29 years. Because Dom and I be together 30 years in September.
Well, put the power saver on. They're not, but it was right up in here. Nah, it doesn't look too good.
Oh, that's what cleared out was the nursery then, huh?
Gone now.
Yep, sure is.
This is the side of a plant nursery I used to work at. It was one of the most pleasant jobs I ever had, very relaxing. And it was owned by Hester Martz, a really old lady who was in business for her health. Not many people can say that.
This used to be Hester's
It was
nursery.
right over in here, right about here. Well, I spent about a year and a half there. It was one of the best jobs I ever had, barefoot.
Yeah.
You know, all good jobs barefoot, you know.
Worked cheap, but didn't need shoes anyway, right?
This was the driveway right here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, some of the nursery is here. Because this is the driveway.
Yeah.
And so, might be some more plants in here that I used to work on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had people come in there all the time. Wanted to buy me shoes. He wanted to work barefoot because he got shoes wet all the time from the watering. Yeah, this jungle.
Yeah, that's all it is now.
This nursing home next door. Sometimes the people from the nursing home thought Hester belonged there. But she was
really?
walking home. They thought she escaped. Said, "Come get her."
Yeah, they used to come from this nursing home drop us. We did the cotton. They'd walk away.
Up here on this corner was Mr. What was his name? I forgot. He was from upstate New York. His son built that big, huge cement boat.
Yeah, didn't think I'd ever forget his name.
Oh, he was a nice old guy.
Yeah.
His boat's gone. I guess he finally built it.
Yeah, he had a boat built out in the
They
yard.
tried to make him get rid of it, but it was there before all these other houses were. And they were complaining.
Yeah.
Oh, right your next.
Okay, says record. What was supposed to say?
Seems to be recorded. This was that the lady had a massage parlor you rented
Yeah.
from? It was a kind of a nice house.
Yeah, it was nice, except the paint was all coming off
And
the
the
wall.
noise from the expressway after a while was kind of rough. But
Yeah.
this, how long did you live there?
Oh, goodness, we lived there like 5 months, I think, or 8 months, something like that. Not too long.
And
about
they
5
sold the
months.
house or something, I think, right?
Yeah, she bring realtors in there while I was gone. I'd come home, the door would be locked, we wouldn't get in. She was strange. She made me pay all her taxes. It looked bad, though. It was nice. It was laid out nice.
Uh-huh.
Just such bad need of painting. Yeah, now it's recording.
So, you know, Marie Hypers was going down this road.
Yeah, this is the one she was speeding.
This is the one that she was speeding, and the policeman followed her all the way down this road. and all the way to this light down there.
Yeah, she thought she wouldn't get a ticket, but she did. This is kind of a easy road to speed on.
This is the corner where they killed those people in the riot, too.
Oh yeah, 27th Avenue. Just right off the expressway, 32nd. Oh, 32nd Avenue. Yeah. Going down to Grandma's trailer, it doesn't seem like anything has changed. It's just changed.
I should have wiped some of the bird stuff off the window so you don't take a trailer park. How many years did I hear?
Unless they were here, what? 20, I guess. I don't remember how long they were here.
They were here by the office first.
Yeah.
And they moved the trailer. The trailer
And they were
stayed
the other
by
side. They
office.
were across the street first. And here's the office. And
That
there's
color
space is
scheme
empty.
almost looks like...
This is the space where Grandma's trailer was, but there's nothing there now.
Well, we moved the trailer over down here, remember?
Oh, that's right. They moved away
There's
from
the
the
lady
office.
next door. What's her name? I forgot. She was always so nice to Grandma. Well, actually, they all were pretty nice to Grandma.
Yeah, this was a lady that was real, so good to Jim.
Yeah.
Can't think, Iowa or no, I forget what her name was. And this was Grandma's trailer here, right?
Well, actually, no. It's not... Oh, wait, it is there. That's it. It's just that they put that thing in...
Oh, this is Grandma's trailer here. Must be children living there now. I see some toys.
G705, same one. Yes, same air conditioner. Remember, I tried to get it out.
That is grandma's trailer.
Yeah, I can still see stuff where we painted it.
Yeah? The long trailer here that was...
We'll go down by the pool and go out.
This one in the corner was the same one.
You know, when they had the riots, they had the manager from the paint factory come over and ask everybody if they'd keep an eye out because they just fired half a dozen people like 2 days
really?
before the riot. And they were expecting the whole thing to catch on fire. If it had, it would have melted these trailers.
Oh yeah, no time at all. Here's the pool area.
1 year before I went on the ship on the Merchant Marines, I let my apartment go and I went to stay with my grandmother for a few days before I went to Tampa to catch a ship. And it happened to be the week right prior to the McDuffie riots. And I think I came on, my grandma's on a Thursday, and the riots started on Friday night or Saturday, and we couldn't get in or out of the neighborhood. They had the National Guard in a perimeter around the area, and you couldn't get in or out, and there no help from the police if anything happened. And at night the sky was full of flames and smoke in the daytime, and you had helicopters, and it was really a nasty time in Miami. There was a couple of riots, but that was one of the worst ones. But living there in a trailer park, we were right next to right where everything was happening. It was a really bad place to be at the time. My grandmother had a .22 caliber pistol, an old Spanish pistol. I think it was an Astra. The ammunition was so old it was green. I was more afraid to shoot it and explode than the rioters. Everybody in the trailer park, they had their guns out and they were sitting in front of their trailers waiting for something to happen. But it was a bad experience knowing that if something did happen, no one could come help you because there was complete anarchy. It was a riot going on. It was like I said, the people were pulled out of their cars and killed just a few blocks from where we were at. It was not a good time. When people say they're against guns, I used to be against guns too, but they're good to have in case something bad happens. It was not a good time. A few years after that, my grandmother was alone in the trailer and somebody came in. She was watching TV late at night, and the guy just beat her in the face as hard as he could. My brother was sleeping in the back, and he was used to my grandmother talking to the television and yelling at it. And he thought at first she was just yelling at the TV. But when he realized something was happening, he ran to the front, and the guy saw him, and he ran off. And my grandmother ended up in intensive care for 2 weeks. And she was never the same after that. And not long after, she passed away. It was not a good time in Miami. Not a happy memory in that particular place and time.
Full of grass. I like you can swim in here really good now. Got your own little grassy pool there.
Oh yeah, it's all unclosed.
You have to be careful when you dive in that sucker.
Oh, it was Bobby and Bunny or something. Bunny and... What was the other one's name?
Fort somewhere.
Wait, what happened here? I got... Right here was the old house we lived in when the peanut was born.
It seems like a lot bigger, but then that's all
Right before peanut was born. Yeah, this is the house.
And there was a tree out back, and I had the canary, and down slammed the door, and the canary got lost. And
that's right.
I remember you bought us a ball or something for a present. And, well, we played ball on there. And
that was neat, yeah.
It's hard to remember. It looks, yeah, there was a tree out back. The stuff wasn't in the back now.
That's the house. And people over at this house here used to have their Spanish, and
they put a piñata up, and I didn't know what it was, and all the kids broke it open, and I was still standing there with the string in my hand, and everyone else was down picking up candy. And
yeah, that's it.
For a hobby, I found that people collected matchbooks, so I would go around the neighborhood picking up matchbooks, and I started collecting them. And
I didn't know. I used to collect matchbooks when I was a kid. Okay, that's the house next door. And this is the house we lived in. We had the little dog with one ear chopped off. Part of the ear was chopped off.
Is that the one that they chopped off and put flour on it to keep from bleeding?
Yeah. It was Clyde. Was it this house? I'm pretty sure it was this house.
Might have been. Yeah, I think it was. Oh, goodness. I hard to believe. 3 years. like the third window.
The apartment I just referenced across the street, I lived for 3 years, and it's actually a fascinating place. After I lived there, I found out from my father that my one of my relatives managed it back in the 40s, and it's possible that John F. Kennedy, when he was here in Miami with the PT boats, may have stayed there. Also, I found out that my grandmother on my father's side, they own property all the way down to the river. In this particular area, this neighborhood, there's a lot of fascinating history that very few people know about. I'm going to be doing a video about it later. But just like I said, I moved into the apartment building and didn't even realize that I had any connection with the area at all until I told my father where I was living. He said, "You should go visit your aunt." See, my family, we weren't too close or too familiar with my father's side of the family. And so after I moved there, I found out that I had relatives just a few blocks away and had been living there for years. In fact, there was an Indian village right there at the mouth of the river, or that particular part of the river, that my dad would go play with the kids there in the Indian village when he lived here. It's a pretty fascinating place. He told me a lot about this area. I'm going to have to do a separate video about this area. Just from the John F. Kennedy aspect of it alone, I think it's going to be interesting. But back to the story.
Number 11, I think.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Had an efficiency, and people would yell outside and be like in your bedroom because you'd be sleeping there.
This is the way you'd walk to work every morning.
Yeah, walk to work. People thought I didn't know how to drive. They would stop, pick
I
me up.
used to walk to work at time.
You worked there, and you never told me how great a place it was to work. You could have told me. I would have fine there. It's no longer degraded. It became degraded, and it was American Hospital. You know, American Hospital Supply, and it was Baxter. Now it's Baxter Diagnostics.
Yeah, many times every day I walk down the street for it.
That used to be German American Club back there. All this is Baxter Diagnostics right now. Across the street, get a film across the street. Over there, they used to film, or not film, but they made the Popeye cartoons back in the 40s.
Oh, really?
Right there. And the guy, he made a movie, and it came out same time World War II did. Nobody wanted to see the movie, and he lost it, and the other studios bought it, and they moved everything to California or New York, I forgot which. Where I work?
Okay.
I know both of those people there.
There's the guards at the front. Yeah, that's where I worked years ago too. Way back in '64.
Oh, we just one place I used to live right up here. I forgot, on the houseboat. In the houseboat, it was a 33-foot cabin cruiser, right down in here. And they sold the lease, and now they put all these Bahamian freighters. Those are Haitian freighters. Had the houseboat right down in here.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
For 9 months. It was great. Nice living there.
The guy lived next to you.
Living on the
Remember
water.
the guy had that big white dog?
That was Ross, yeah.
Ross. Used to be the screwball bar. That's where we used to park the car. Yeah, Family in the Woods. Check Cavaliers. This one. Yeah,
Here's the next one. So on there is all the old. That's Death's house there, and the other people in the woods or whatever, Sheldon's or William Death.
So that's just the trees and stuff.
These two and all that down to the river.
Where's this? Right in here.
Right in there, that one right there.
Oh, right there with the white car.
In fact, that might be her.
Yeah.
Probably is.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Beth. 80-some years old out there in the yard. That's probably
Yeah.
her.
Probably
Okay,
is.
sorry, guy. These people wonder what we're doing over here. Did you have any idea where you were close to? And some things haven't changed, you see, after all those years. Of course, it's now a little 80, but, you know,
What used to be on this corner of 54th Street?
yeah, more or less everything was here, still here.
And
As far
right
as-
down the street to our left was a first thrift store I used to hang out at.
That's the Oasis. And there's the trailer park. Okay, there's the Lemon City. That's where the post office was and everything.
Yeah. closest post office in Miami.
What's that?
Yeah, it was Notre Dame Academy for the girls. That's where I learned to drive, was in that parking lot. That's where Patty fell off the back seat and cut a piece of rear out.
There was a rusty floor in the back. It was a green wire or something.
Right, there used to be MacArthur's Dairy over there where the cars are passing now. Yeah. Groceries.
Manuals.
Yeah.
Moody.
Should I get a picture of that car you almost hit?
Northeast first place number 2.
Yeah, first place.
First place number 2. That's
This is where we lived for years and years.
There's Mr. and Mrs. Bryan's house, I guess. The one with the coral rock right there?
Yeah, with the coral
Because
rock.
the big house is no longer there.
No, that was the Chris's.
Chris's, okay.
Chris's.
Not Bryan's.
Yeah.
In the back. Okay, now this parking lot, because you give me high tires, it used to be so big and now it looks so small.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
And this tiny vacant lot had a 2-story house in it.
Right here.
In a 2-story house,
In the front.
had coral rock, fireplace, wooden shingles, and then there was another house in the back.
The garage
Unbelievable.
apartments in the back.
Yeah.
Big 3-bedroom, a big walk-in closets.
That tree in the back, I remember falling down, scraping my back open.
Yeah,
Yeah, climbing up it, falling right down. Mahogany tree.
that sure is a small lot for all that building.
Unbelievably small. Incredible. Then again, over there is a old crazy lady's house.
Crazy lady, yeah, she used
This is
to...
Ostad or
Corbett.
something?
Corbett. Yeah.
She always said when people were cutting up her shoes at night, she was in
Cut
contact
pieces
with
of her hair off and she rode
UFOs.
the bus. And she'd find paintings on the walls, and all it was where the paint was chipping off. That big white building.
This tree wasn't there. That one tree there, that's a new tree.
Yeah.
Of course, it's about 20 years old, but it's near me.
Yeah.
There was a guava.
Yep, this was our backyard at one time.
There's only one tree left that was there when I was there. And this house I remember.
This was the Primes.
Yeah. There, and they had a big avocado tree in the back. Is
And
it
a
still there?
three-legged
Yep,
dog
it's still
named
there.
Junior. It would eat you up.
Doubt if they're still there.
I stuck with a wagon behind it because that's what Jimmy and Dean would ride around on. And I'd know where they were at.
I hardly remember these places.
Yeah,
Because I guess they didn't let me walk around by myself too much.
Cocker Spaniel dog lived in one of these cottages named Sir Michael.
I remember we had a cocker spaniel.
Trailer parked out here in this yard that's empty now with a big tree. Frankie Fumagalli lived there. Yeah, that's the back of the grocery store where we used to trade groceries.
Mr. Rothenberger.
Yeah.
And,
Hopkins had it before him, and then Rothenberger.
there was a restaurant across the street.
Was a Keystone restaurant right there in that big parking lot. Yeah, they was real exclusive. They only open certain parts of the times of the year. Yeah. There's Jimmy High's.
I know this neighborhood looks pretty grim and depressing, with all the bars on the windows and the beat up look of the neighborhood, but it just wasn't like that in the late 50s and early 60s growing up. Me and my brothers would play in this parking lot of Jimmy High's at nighttime. We'd listen to the nighthawks go after the bugs and insects when they'd swoop down. We would ride the bikes around the neighborhood. It was we'd go to the store. We knew that the Askies that lived above the store. It was a very small world, a very safe world. It was a totally different place and time. It's all changed, but that's how things go. But it's not like it was. I know it looks pretty bad, but it wasn't grim like this back then.
Right here is the old library. That's the first library I went to. It was there. First library in Miami.
Lot now. And this is a new one on the corner over here. Yeah. This is where the old first library in Lemon City was, right on this corner. And they got the new one. Restaurant like.
It's not there anymore.
No.
This street, down in this street, Dad used to live on Lemon City Avenue. And before the city of Miami, there was a pier here, and the boats used to come and deliver water and goods.
See? Yeah.
Like I said, down here at the end of the street. Okay, down to the end of the street here. It's recording here. Oh, the battery.
Bernie's stood on his side. His oar holder. Had a little boy named Money that Bobby was so fond of.
Yeah.
I can't see what it says, but
That's that new indoor Biscayne International thing, right?
whatever.
Yeah, you can sell papers right here in this corner.
Well, you're not going to believe this one. When I was about 12 or 13, when we were living in the Little River housing projects there, Little River Terraces, Larchmont, about 12 or 13, started selling newspapers after school. The Miami News, they came out in the afternoon. Miami Herald came out in the morning. For close to a month after school, 12, 13 years old, on the corner at nighttime and dark in the city of Miami. 12, 13-year-old kids selling papers on the corner right here, 79th Street and 2nd. I think it was maybe the last paper boy in America. They got grown-ups selling papers, but not kids. Nowadays, you'd probably go to jail having your kids selling papers on the corner, 12 years old.
Miami News, which is no longer here either.
Right.
For 10 cents, I think.
Right. There used to be the bakery right there, and I used to get 10 cents worth of smell from the bakery.
Tree gardens.
Under the nightstand plate. Recording.
It's recording, okay. Yeah, that's
what it's saying. Oh, you forgot.
North Miami city limits. And that's Tree Garden. I don't think we can get in. We can drive by.
Somewhere in there is where we used to live.
Another place. Number 17?
Security guard. Yeah, it must be about number. I think it's Jimmy's.
Well, that's right. There's another place. Forgot about. We never lived here, but we might as well have. This is the Red White Blue, the famous Red White Blue thrift store. We were here so many times.
Everything in
I
our
bought
house
a sailboat there. I bought shoes. Never bought any underwear, but just books and books and books.
Red, white, blue.
Suits and suits and suits.
Hang on to the steering wheel because the car will automatically pull into the
It painted that school pink. Can you imagine how bad it is for the kids to go there and when the other teams come and make fun of me?
But then you said pink and it looks all white in here.
Let me tell you, it's
like
pink.
Yahweh's to
It's
me.
pink and God vomit green. It's a wonderful color. North Miami, all right. Had the best band.
Miami High School. Right. Many untold hours.
I went there, Patty went there, Darlene went there, Tina went there.
Here we are, the
This
pink
is
house
the
beside
newest and the latest edition in the city of Miami.
No, this
Actually,
is
it's one
Miami
of the-
Shores, dear. We're
that's
leaving
true.
now.
It's a nice house, nice apartment.
Okay.
Got the famous red car here.
Right on. We are now homebound. And here we are, FBL 8AT.